Greetings. Greetings, everyone. Linda Talaferro, being Brown at work, joining you on this wonderful Tuesday. Depending on where you are, may not be so wonderful. I'm hoping that you are safe. I'm hoping that you're warm. I do know that there's some challenges in various parts of the country. So I hope that you're not greatly negatively impacted. Whoever thinks that global warming, climate change isn't real, um, by now, hopefully, they know that it is. So I hope that you're safe, healthy, and warm. Wanted to talk to you at this episode about basically about the struggles, you know, as Black and Brown women in corporate America. There's nothing about our journey that's easy. And I never pretend, you guys know that I am not the one. I don't pretend that it's easy. Never have, never will. I'm very direct and upfront about the challenges that exist. And there's an array of them. There's an array of them. And even for a majority of us, we enter into this space with our own stuff. I'll speak for me. I entered into this space with low self esteem. I lacked confidence, didn't want to be seen, didn't want to make friends. I didn't go to work to make friends, quote unquote. Just wanted to keep my head down, work hard. And the reason why I entered into corporate America with that mindset was because of all the baggage I brought into it from my personal life, from being someone that was bullied, from having parents that were divorced and a father that had nothing to do with me, low self esteem, right? Really strict mother. Um, and then I enter into the workplace early in my career and experience sexual harassment from a person that was very high up in the organization. So, baggage for sure, challenging journey. And that start with sexual harassment was one of many challenges. Now, does it have to be that way? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I know for a fact, for a woman that looks like myself, had it not been that challenge, it would have been something else. In the manufacturing space, definitely no one that looks like me sitting in the seat that has any impact. And frankly, if there were people in those seats with impact, they had the mindset, hey, I got mine, you get yours, however way you feel like you need to do it. I'm not here to help you. I'm not here to reach back. I'm not here to mentor. That's real. There's people in our community that are that way, unfortunately. And early in the years, I had some of that. But what I didn't do then is the reason why I want to talk about in this episode is which I don't want you to do now. Because in order for me to get the seat that I have today, which is where my vision was, which is what my goal was, which is what I knew I could achieve had I done the work, I didn't give up. I didn't get up. I went through those situations and had to learn to change my mindset, my outlook, my approach, my thought process. And it started with what I saw in the mirror. So when I knew that I had worth and value, and I had to do some introspective work. I mean, you hear me talk about peeling back, connecting to that peel back and then growing. Yes, I had to do that introspective work, but it started with me understanding my worth, irrespective of how dark complected I was or the type of hair that I had. And once I understood that worth, then come hell or high water, I was getting the seat at the table. And initially didn't approach it very wisely and had to, as I said, had to learn how to shift my mindset, to understand the value of relationships, stuff that, frankly, stuff that's just not taught or communicated in our community. I will be this coming Friday 59 years old, and there aren't many people in my family that went to college. You may have heard me share at one point in time that my mother had 8 brothers and sisters, of which one, the youngest one, went to college, of who I had a lot of exposure to. And the reason why I have the degrees that I have today and the track of education that I went on was because of that one uncle who's an engineer, and therefore I wanted to be one. But there's not a lot. I mean, I can't even count. I could probably count on one hand after me, and I've got a big family on my mother's side, how many of us went to college. So I didn't have a lot of those examples before me, except for that one. But that was enough for me. He planted that seed, thank goodness, and that was enough to keep me going. So I didn't give up, no matter how difficult it became. And it was him, thank goodness, until he unfortunately passed away, when he would come visit me periodically and tell me a little bit of the secret sauce. My Uncle Chester had a dynamic personality, didn't meet a stranger, and helped me with that mindset shift that I needed. I don't carry around on my shoulders the boulder of being a Black woman. I'm very aware of who I am, but that is not my albatross or my issue that I carry. It may be others, but it's not mine. And it's critical that I went through those experiences, did the work of peeling back so I could understand myself and therefore be able to understand what it took in the corporate environment to succeed, connected all the dots, and then grow my career. And that's what I would offer to you in this episode. Because, baby, I'm telling you, I'm just being real with everyone that is listening to this. You will have to go through something. It may not be a lot and it may not be massive, but it will be something. And to give up is really not an option. Giving up on yourself is not an option. I talk to younger people all the time, and I find that if it's not immediately the way they think it should be, and if people aren't, you know, doing what they need to do, and if they don't recognize XYZ, then I'm out, I'm done. At the slightest thing, I'm out, I'm done. Do we deserve respect? Absolutely. Respect is earned. Bottom line. Do we deserve a seat at the table? Absolutely. Is it going to be given to you? Absolutely not. But can you get it? I did. So there's no difference between me and you. The only difference at this moment, potentially, if you are stuck, if you're frustrated, if you're in this spiral of not making getting an inch forward, or you take 5 steps forward and you tend to take 10 steps back, the only difference would be is that you're not willing to go through the mindset shift. You've decided that you're going to dig your heels in, and if they don't know that you're good enough and they don't see your work product is excellent and it's above everyone else, shame on them. No, it's actually shame on you. And unfortunately, if you've been in that rut and you decide you're out, then you're giving up on yourself. And that is the reason why, in some cases, not all, The lack of the mindset shift, the lack of willing to build relationships and understanding the power of relationships, the lack of strengthening our EQ, our executive presence, knowing how to show up strongly. Those are some of the reasons why we can't shift the playing field and increase these percentages. You've been seeing in some of the posts some of the percentages that exist out here in corporate America regarding women of color and the positions that they have. Now, is there a dynamic that exists among the people in charge and those in control? Yes, there is. There's no doubt about it that dynamic exists. That dynamic exists to a certain extent because of the lack of work we do and because we decide that that is going to be our obstacle, that we are just going to stop, that we're just going to hang our hat on the fact that they'll never get it, they'll never open the door, so therefore I don't do any of the work or the effort. And I'm trying to implore upon you, do not do that to yourself. You're worth the effort of doing the extra work. You're worth the extra effort. You're worth it. In a toxic environments, get out of them. I've gotten out of toxic situations. Gotten out of toxic situations. One, when I moved into Michigan, left it and was told when I resigned, it wouldn't matter if you walked on water, it wouldn't have made a difference. But one thing I do know is when I run into those individuals later in my career, they have positive things to say about me, not so much about those persons that were in my way. Because I will tell you one thing, the corporate world is small and people do talk to each other. Why? Because it's about relationships. So this session and this episode, I really wanted to emphasize as loudly as I can, as strongly as I can, as clearly, concisely as I can, that if you want to get over the hump, if you want to get over being stuck, if you want to clear those landmines, you want to get out of the downward spiral, you have to go through it. You won't be able to go around over it because it's going to follow you until you master the tools, the methodologies, the mindset shift that gets you through it and into the seat at the table that you deserve. So that's for this episode. I am so honored to have launched this podcast. I can't tell you, I mean, it's new. And, doing these lives on Facebook and whatnot, it's beyond. And I appreciate everyone that has joined me on this new ride. Um, Go check me out in my website, lindatalaferro.com, and you'll find some of the, tools and methodologies that I'm talking about that you can use to help you go through and to go through successfully so that you can get on the other side, get over and get into that seat. So until next Tuesday, be well.